This is an implementation of a research plan to guide decisions on place-based recreational fishery conservation in Charlotte Harbor, Florida. This kind of presentation is going to be presented by Courtney, Saari, and with the help of David. But David's, yeah. Okay, next one. The purpose of this is to brief the committee to a NOA and NOAA restore funded research and planning project set to begin this winter. Outcomes include a decision support tool that prioritizes locations and restoration and protection of juvenile sport fish habitat. And the connection with the CHNEP is, the CCNP, is to relate to fish, wildlife, habitat protection, and the priority number one, action number one, is protect, restore, and monitor estuary habitats. Without any further ado, Courtney.
Do I need to stand up there? Or do you want me to present from over here?
Oh, you're comfortable there, that's fine.
Okay.
Right, yes. Sure.
Do you have a clicker? You just want me to say next slide?
Yeah, just say next slide. I forgot the advancer, sorry.
Okay, no, that's good. Okay, good morning, everybody. I know that was a mouthful for you to say. That's the title of our grant. I hadn't shortened it yet for this presentation. Just wanted to give you guys a quick update on a large restore grant that we have received. So a little bit of background here. I believe you've already heard presentations in the past, maybe recently from Dave, about some of the juvenile sport fish work that we've been doing in Charlotte Harbor. So I'm not going to give you too much of a background here. But basically, we have had previous grants for post-restoration monitoring of juvenile sport fish, so snook and tarpon habitats in Charlotte Harbor. And we've been building on that foundational knowledge from FWC and BTT and other partners. We've worked with restoration managers and which led us to the bigger question of how do we translate these research findings into usable information for local municipalities that actually govern coastal development. So that led us to, let me backtrack for a second, because juvenile snook and tarpon use these coastal ponds far back in the landscape at the headwaters to creeks and at the edge of urban development. So they are vulnerable habitats. The ones inside the aquatic preserve are protected, but they can go straight up to development. And there are some in this area outside of the aquatic preserves. So we're looking at ways for future conservation and restoration, which has led us to this large collaborative project that we have been working on for the past couple of years. The first part of this project was a previous restore grant that was funneled through a subcommittee, the Habitat subcommittee, is that Habitat? Yeah. Yes, of this group, where we held 4 workshops 2 years ago to get stakeholders, researchers, managers all in the room to create, next slide, to create this plan. So that's what I'm talking about here when I say co-produced plan. So this is when you get managers and scientists to work together to create plans and products for decision making. So this was a big collaborative project, collaborative partnership. We've got Charlotte County in the room, CHNEP, BTT and FWC are the main players, but we've also had representation from many groups who are in this room today, like Kate Rose, Lemon Bay Conservancy. I could go on with listing all of the partners here. But anyway, those 4 workshops put together this research and application plan, which identified needs to move forward to reduce uncertainty for decision making. And we took action items from that plan and pulled together a proposal for NOAA Restore Grant for Actionable Science, which we've received, and we're starting this winter, and that will be running for the next 5 years. Next slide. So overall, the project goals for this is to provide We're basically looking to gain a better understanding of the potential impacts to coastal ponds from altered drainage patterns from upland development to help inform these conservation decisions, and provide a framework to integrate sport fish habitat into local and state management plans. And the end goal is to ultimately produce these science-based decision support tools that we can hand off to managers for their urban planning and for their habitat management to ensure the economic stability and the environmental stability and economic resiliency in Charlotte County. So to do this, we have quite a few sub-projects to this project that we're going to be doing in a stepwise manner, addressing many of the action items from that co-produced plan. So some of these will happen in a stepwise manner and others will happen simultaneously. So we have a team of FWC scientists who will be working to locate and characterize juvenile sport fish nursery habitats across the county, mainly on Cape Hayes and the East Wall, because our previous work was focused mainly just around Coral Creek and a small portion of Cape Hayes. So we'll be expanding that to look for viable habitats and sport fish use of those habitats. We will also be assessing a recent restoration design for juvenile sport fish. So this is wildflower at Lemon Bay Conservancy, Lemon Creek Wildflower Preserve. We will also be contracting out to model for an eco-hydrology modeling of the effects of different development scenarios and stormwater management, stormwater drainage options of an area in Cape Hayes that's going to be developed and has these ponds, these coastal ponds in and around that development. We'll be looking at different, modeling different future options there. At the same time, we're going to be working on a mini HEM model, so the habitat evolution model with a sea level rise focus for that same area. And also at the same time, and running throughout the span of the project, we're going to be doing some GIS mapping to create a habitat vulnerability index. So we're going to be taking our previous sport fish work and working with stakeholders who have done sport fish work and identifying these coastal ponds and habitats throughout Charlotte County, mainly again of the Cape Hayes and East Wall, and identifying, hopefully creating a score so we can look more place-based at a parcel level of habitats or parcels that need to be conserved or restored or might need action items for stormwater management, or ones that look like they have a coastal pond, but it's not, it's a stormwater pond that's not actually used. So basically a ranking of these habitats with all of our previous research will go into that. That then all of this will be combined into hopefully one GIS-based tool that we can share with local managers. Next slide. So those local managers, we're partnering with Charlotte County, so we're looking to help them with their potential land conservation amendments in the future for their comprehensive plan. So this is what that end goal is with that GIS map-based tool. So they have all of these different layers that they use with their land use planning. So we're hoping to help inform those, whether it has to do with land zoning and acquisition or stormwater infrastructure, identifying places for conservation or habitat restoration, things like that. And then next slide, we're also tackling some state management decisions as well. In 2028, FWC's habitat group is going to be looking to site a wetland restoration project in Charlotte County. So that's where our monitoring of the success of the wildflower restoration project comes in, along with what we'll be learning about natural sites. and that vulnerability index. So it will all tie together to help them with site selection for a restoration project and also effective restoration designs. So just to kind of recap this is a 5-year project. We're setting it up this year, getting our contracts in place, getting our team members back in the room. And then over the next couple of years, we'll be doing that sampling, modeling, mapping. And then the last 2 years of it will be data analysis, pulling it all together and sharing those findings with others and transferring products. So basically, I wanted to put this on everybody's radar here because our previous work was funneled through a subcommittee of the TAC. And so we're hoping that we'll have annual workshops where we can bring you guys updates as to our progress, and then eventually hope to utilize the resources in this room for reviewing our project output and products, and also helping us identify any other stakeholders that we might have missed in the past that need to be in the room. So I'm really excited about this huge collaborative work. It's been an effort to get a lot of the stakeholders in the room together, and we couldn't have done it without the help of the CHNEP and the TAC. So thank you guys. On the next slide, you'll just have our contact information, and we have 2 websites, one from the previous work, that co-production grant that CHNEP houses through the Water Atlas, and then our official NOAA Restore website as well. Thank you guys. If anybody has any questions, I'm here for a little bit and I can answer some. If not, you all know Dave, and he is leading the fish research part of this grant.
I just want to congratulate the team. It's a huge accomplishment, the grant that you guys were awarded. And I didn't hear you mention, but you should, the amount is quite substantial.
Yes, it's 1.2 million over 5 years.
Excellent.
Because sampling and modeling are not cheap.
That's true. That's true.
A question there.
Could you say a little bit more about the stormwater infrastructure aspect of it? You're looking at existing structures to see like if they're an impediment, and then
Yes.
you recommend like it would be better if it was like this, or it's mostly an assessment?
So on the Cape Hayes Peninsula and like the Rotunda Meadows area, it's platted out and it has old infrastructure there. So we're looking to see what basically at the sheet flow and the water that's coming out of there, and if development will change the water flow to these ponds, because we feel like the freshwater input is really important.
Yeah.
We're not stormwater experts, so we're gonna, hopefully our contractor will have some options there.
Okay.
We're basically just trying to provide options with this habitat in mind.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
I had a question out of curiosity. I don't know if you remember those ditches that were dig for mosquito control, but some of them are in that area. They were beneficial, or do you finding that they to be detrimental? Sorry about that question, but it's like I'm curious to know that.
So what's interesting is snook and tarpon juveniles overlap in their habitat use, but we find that the ponds that are connected with those mosquito ditches have more snook in them, and the ponds that don't have mosquito ditches and have more of just a mangrove marsh have more tarpon in them. So I can't necessarily answer if they're bad or good. Maybe Dave has a little bit more.
I think anytime you're looking at mosquito ditches, you kind of have to look at it at place-based.
Mhm.
Like there's certain mosquito ditches I feel that are beneficial now because they've been established and they act as creeks. And there's other mosquito ditches where they're inhibiting hydrology. So you have to look at them on a per case basis. You can't say good or bad, I don't think.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it'll depend on their depth and how naturalized they become, how the mangroves have taken over or not.
Okay, well, that's good to know. Right.
I've got a quick question if I could. So it's Mark from NOAA, right? And appreciate the information. I remember serving on the 4 meetings we had years back. Remind me again, Courtney, are these private held parcels for the most part?
Yes. Some of them are private held, some of them are owned by development companies. or construction companies, right, Braden?
Yeah, I mean, this is one of these areas that was originally platted out many years ago
Mhm.
in single family homes. And so, generally speaking, you've got a lot of very small parcels that are owned by people from all over the world. Practically though, in this particular case, there are a couple of individuals, not companies, that own clusters of these.
Mhm.
And there have been attempts by development companies, which they've been doing throughout Parsons, Charlotte County, to try to buy up and aggregate these parcels into larger lots. And so one of the hurdles with all of this, and what makes this kind of an interesting project, is that it's not just the nature of these habitats, but the nature of the stormwater system itself, and that because the platting predates all modern stormwater codes and standards, they don't adhere to the same kind of stormwater management requirements that you would have in a modern development. So one of the things that we're doing is kind of keeping an eye on and following what larger developers are trying to do in the area, because in all honesty, if they do manage to come in, buy up a lot of lots, there's actually an opportunity there to help shape stormwater management more so than what we could do in its current state. So that's, kind of part of the balance here too.
Cool, good to know. So I work in the federal permitting. I'm not a permitter, right? I'm an advisory agency to permitting. And I really think that this approach would probably help add certainly some fodder, for lack of a better term, to our agency's comment letters. Because in addition to being designated federally as essential fish habitat, I think this really provides a local level, and it certainly helps that it's no restore funding. So I think it's a great effort. I'll do everything I can within my capacity to help protect these areas as well as practicable. So thank you.
One more, Ernesto. I'm going to be super excited to watch the evolution and the progress of your project. Sarasota County Stormwater just got a big chunk of money from NOAA as well to do restoration in Alligator Creek.
Oh, cool.
And Alligator Creek, it's funny how I said that. And a big component of that is working with Moat on before, during, and after monitoring of the fish populations in there. And we're hoping to see a great increase in juvenile fish use of the creek and the lagoons and such that we're putting in. Same timeline. We started monitoring in 2022, actually, and post-construction monitoring will start in 27. So it'll be interesting to see if there's where the parallels are
Yeah, that's
between the
great.
two projects.
That'll parallel to what the work we're doing in Robinson.
Oh, yeah, true.
So we're working there on Motus too.
Yep.
There's a lot of sites now that we have data on. So you got Robinson, we'll have Wildflower, we've got the Coral Creek site. Those are all different designs, and Alligator Creek, another new design. So it's really neat.
And building off that too, we're hoping Florida's FWC's Division of Marine Fisheries Management is taking more of a habitat approach to regional management now. And they're interested in all the work we're doing in Southwest Florida as like a pilot study to then be able to apply to other areas of the state. So this work, the work that you guys are doing in Sarasota County, it's all gonna hopefully benefit and be a good example for the rest of the state that we can apply it as well.